Hey you, get up here. We need to have a chat.
Hello, come on in. This is my studio. Are we ready? Okay, I'm ready to have a chat. I hope you guys are ready. This is gonna be interesting. So you want to start a podcast but don't know whether or not you should DIY it, sign up for a course, or hire a podcast coach? Well, in this video, I will give you all the information to help you choose the best option and also show you the best podcast courses out there, paid and free. Hello, mis amigos. Welcome to the Pod Sound School, where we cover pretty much everything related to podcasting, content creation, and more. I'm Veronica. I'm a podcast coach and producer. Para servirle con mucho gusto, at your service. If you're new to podcasting, you may be overwhelmed with all the choices you need to make. Finding the right recording equipment, choosing a web host, figuring out the production and distribution of your podcast. And if that wasn't enough, you have to learn how to record and edit audio. And if you are not feeling overwhelmed already, I bet you're right now. But don't worry, there are so many great podcast coaches and podcasting courses that can take the thinking out of the equation and get you all set up with your new podcast. And I'll also share tips and resources with all my DIYers. But before we get into the juicy stuff, I'll invite you to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos. Okay, so first let's talk about option number one, which is to DIY your podcast production. And let me be clear, there isn't a good or bad choice. It all depends on 4 basic factors: budget, time, skill, and commitment. So if you're thinking about going the DIY route and learning everything related to podcast production, this option will save you money because you won't have to pay a podcast coach or buy a course to teach you how to podcast. Here on YouTube, you can find different YouTube videos teaching you the basics on how to start a podcast. For example, Buzzsprout has an entire playlist with a video series on how to start a podcast. And here on our channel, we have videos showing you how you can start experimenting with podcasting using an app on your phone, and also how to do it at a professional level. However, you will have to invest more time piecing the information together and doing some trial and error until you figure it out on your own, especially the technical part of podcasting, which is purchasing the right equipment and learning how to record and edit audio. And this takes me to the other factor, which is skill, the skills that you bring to the table. Do you have experience recording and editing audio? Are you a tech savvy? Do you pick up on new skills easily? Or are you technologically challenged like me and audio production is one of those things that scare you? Are you good at writing and creating audio content? Or maybe you have no idea how to organize your topic, or you don't even have a topic. The more of these skills you have, the better chances you will have a DIY in your podcast. But if you don't have any of these skills yet, I will recommend that you try any of the other 2 options to avoid frustrations and ultimately abandoning the project even before starting. But even if you don't possess any of the skills I've mentioned just yet, and you're still determined to DIY your podcast, you can do it if you're motivated, committed to learning, and committed to your goals. You are autodidactic and you have finished projects like this in the past. If you have this type of personality, I am 100% sure that you will be ranting and raving about your brand new podcast in no time. But if you're anything like me who needs to see the whole picture before embarking on any new project or adventure, show me the roadmap from point A to point B kind of a thing, you may want to enroll in a course. A course teaching you how to podcast will take you through the steps from beginning to end, allowing you to produce your own podcast and create your podcast studio, among other cool things like marketing and promotion. There are some excellent courses from some amazing and talented individuals in our industry. There's Podcast Now, taught by award-winning podcaster Sarah Rhea Warner. There's also Podcast Success Academy, taught by longtime podcaster and podcast coach Mark Asquith. And of course, Podfling with Power Up Podcasting. We also have 2 signature courses, Smart and Sexy Podcast Launch and 7-Day Podcast Fast Track. I will show you inside Smart and Sexy in a minute, but first, let's make a disclaimer. A Latina mom, heart-to-heart talk. Taking an online course still requires you to put in the hard work and effort. In fact, all of the choices I'm covering in this video require work. Whether you DIY, take an online course, or hire a podcast coach, you will have to put in the work to learn. Podcasting requires work, commitment, and clear goals. The benefits and opportunities are endless in podcasting. But like anything in life, it will require you to go all in, determined to make things happen. So if you're one of those who have a collection of online courses but haven't finished any of them, I want you to consider a different option. Now you may be asking, so what's the point of paying for an online course if I have to do all the work myself? Well, let me answer that with a simple word: efficiency. All of these courses I mentioned include video lessons, detailed tutorials, worksheets, hands-on assignments, equipment recommendations, strategies and tactics for growth, but even more important than that is the experience and knowledge of the instructors who have walked the walk, made mistakes themselves, and have invested money attending national podcast events to bring you the latest and the best so you don't waste time on things that don't work. But once again, you will have to sit through the lessons, do the assignments, and ask the questions. So now, as I promised, let's look inside Smart and Sexy Podcast Lunch. Inside the program, there are a total of 7 modules. After signing up, students get access to the Kickstart module, showing them the equipment they need and things to consider when setting up their recording studio. They also get access to Module 1, which is all about finding a topic and defining your ideal audience. The rest of the modules are released on a weekly basis. Every week, students learn different skills like audio production and have hands-on assignments helping them plan their episodes, their social media, so each week they get closer and closer to launch their podcast. If you want to know more information about Smart and Sexy Podcast Lunch and the 7-day podcast fast track or any of the other courses I mentioned in this video, go to the link in the description box below. And finally, let's move on to the third option, which is to hire a podcast coach. Having an experienced person by your side while you're learning a new skill is priceless. You will not only save time and money in the long run, but you will avoid making mistakes, costly mistakes, and going through frustrating moments. You will accomplish your goals and see results faster. Like I mentioned, as podcast coaches, we're up to date with the latest equipment, technology, growth strategies, latest hacks, and anything in between. You will not only benefit from the knowledge and expertise that they have accumulated for years, but will also benefit from the accountability factor that comes with working one-on-one with a podcast coach. There are some really awesome podcast coaches in our community like Larry Roberts and Crystal Prophet, and they also have amazing podcast courses as well. I also work with clients one-on-one. However, there are 2 things that I want you to consider when finding a coach, and the first is that they may not be available because there are only so many clients that as coaches we can take. I had to turn down clients in the past because I didn't have the time, so make sure you schedule accordingly if you're working with a specific timeline. Also, important tip, don't be afraid to ask your podcast coach about other podcasts that she's helped produce in the past to get an idea of the quality of the work that they do. You want to make sure you're getting your money's worth. And my last disclaimer, this video is full of disclaimers. Don't assume that your coach will do the work for you. It's like hiring a fitness coach and pretending that she'll do all the lifting so you can get in shape. You will have to put in the work. Your coach will give you the roadmap and the tools, and you have to do the rest of the work. If you're looking for somebody to do all the work for you so you can just show up and be the talent behind the microphone and do nothing else, then you'll need a podcast producer and not a podcast coach. Okay, Patsky, I hope this little chat helped you to get a clear idea of what you need so you can start moving forward with your podcast. I'm so thrilled you decided to start your podcast, and I can't wait for you to share it with me. And before you go, the same 2 things. No olviden hacer la tarea, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Happy casting, amigos!
Get closer to the camera real quick. Like, get nice and close to the camera.
You will not...
Okay, let's...
It almost flied inside my mouth.
I know!
Ah!
Oh no, I can see it in the frame too. That bastard almost got... We might have to stop and kill it.